Welcome back to some professional Starcraft 2 from the team Liquid Star League 8. I bring you an epic Terran versus Terran. No English or French here, but in the bottom right, the #1 ranked Age of Empires 4 player currently, but his name should give away where his true heart lies. We'll see if he can stand up against the Titan on the other side. It is the second best French Terran. It's MarineLorD. And in the top left, needs no introduction, but once again, how else am I going to get the likes and the subscribes from you beautiful viewers? Of course, it is the man, the myth, the Maru. The multi-GSL champion, the millionaire from just prize money. Probably the most storied player in SC2. Willing to try every strategy, no matter the outcome. Well, I would say this is his weakest matchup. In Terran versus Zerg and Terran versus Protoss, you have the opportunity... Jim, can we bring up the guide? You have the opportunity to out-micro, to out-multitask, a little bit more so than up against your fellow cerebral Terrans. Terran versus Terran is a bit more of a chess boxing match where, since you have access to similar or the same units right off the bat, it's harder to get those little advantages against a competent player. Of course, that means you lose one Reaper, one Hellion, even a couple SCVs, and that can spiral out of control. Just as easily, though, we can be at something of a stalemate until the later game, and it becomes a positional war, whether it is with late-game army compositions and air control, or with Marines and tanks slugging it out on the field. MarineLorD gonna open it up with a couple Reapers jumping in the employee entrance. Even the warning sign there. Maru did not heed the warnings. And that means he's going to lose an SCV building the starport. The response is there. MarineLorD trading for SCVs. It looks like he knows the Reapers aren't going to make it out. He gets a fourth SCV, and a full scout. So that is definitely a choice. That's not a mistake for MarineLorD. Understanding that villagers can gather, SCVs can gather a significant amount of resources over time. Of course, he now knows vengeance is coming. He realizes that Maru has gone for an expansion based on the starport timing, and he himself has to defend at home. He does have a Cyclone with a second on the way. The Cyclone itself is not enough to defend here. He's got to stay covered with the Marines. I think Maru caught a glimpse, and he knows, Maru... He might think he has an advantage over MarineLorD in this best of 3, and I would argue very much so he does. He's definitely the favorite here, since we're not having it out on dry Arabia. But it's CVT. You can't just throw away your units for nothing and expect to be able to hold a counterattack. That defense from MarineLorD here, he traded 2 Reapers for 4 SCVs and he got away with it. Of course, Maru is not going to let anything lie for very long. If he has anything to micro and he thinks he has a shot, he's going to go for it. And that's why we have a medevac on the way. The medevac going to allow Maru to break the locks of the Cyclones or draw their fire. It can technically heal oh my god, there's a tank in there. There's a what? He just drops a tank! Who dropped it out of there? No, the dog! Oh! The dog died with the Marines, and more importantly... Well, actually, no. There's nothing more important than that. At this point, I think MarineLorD has to go John Wick on him. 3 SCVs, a bunch of Marines, a dog, some Cyclones. Overall, Maru, just wow. A very Maru move. Just dunking the tank down like it's 2015 and tanks can fly again. Dark times, dark times. MarineLorD cleans it up, but at what cost? Not a particularly heavy one, except for emotionally. Neither player left with a significant deficit economically or in army supply. The supplies are dead even. MarineLorD a couple SCVs down, but that means, of course, he has a couple more units. He has the Raven, I believe, a little quicker. Yeah, Maru's Raven just popped out. That Raven, the Swiss Army knife of the Terran army. You have essentially every sort of option. You can use auto turrets for harass or to buffer for your Marines in the front of the fight. Interference Matrix can lock down key units like other Ravens or siege tanks. And then, of course, anti-armor missile can Dorito dust the Marines, and they become so self-conscious they take 3 more damage a hit. I think that's how it works. And, of course, anything else, but usually Marines are the premium target there. A scan from Maru, trying to catch as much information as possible. Doesn't really get too much he didn't already know. Counter scan from MarineLorD, pulling out the Bronze League hero strategies. But to great effect, as he spots the 3rd command center timing, he spots the added production, and that means MarineLorD has a very good idea of exactly what Maru can do and when. MarineLorD, on the other hand, has hidden that information from Maru. Oh, I like this choice. He's added on 2 engineering base. He knows Maru's going to have a little more production, so an aggressive defense is probably the best option. He doesn't need to have a ton of Marines. He can maybe slip in the upgrades and get a slight advantage there, as long as he's very active with 3 Ravens on the field. Those 3 Ravens, well, far outstripping Maru. He's got to be a little careful about the Vikings, but 3 Ravens definitely have a lot more utility than a handful of Vikings, assuming they're able to get any of their spells off. Or abilities. Are we calling them spells? I don't think we ever landed on whether they're spells. I think they're technically called abilities, but everybody gets the idea, all right? Let's not argue semantics here. This is the internet. No place for such things. Then try a scan, except both sides combining into a French flag sort of situation. Oh, wow. Those tanks can hit the refinery from the low ground. Maru finding a pretty annoying position. Not deadly. Pre-scanning, making sure MarineLorD doesn't get the jump on him. Maru has seen the Raven count. He knows that he can't stick around for long, or MarineLorD will be able to dislodge him. Where are the Ravens? Oh, they were working their way around the natural. MarineLorD rotating. The map is dark and full of Terrans right now. Wow, using the Artanis announcer pack. Interesting choice, and he decides to take the fight. Scrambles 4 out of 4 tanks. His volleys just laying out across the field, and Maru is clean. The boys, a little late to the party, appreciate the enthusiasm. The French always willing to pull the workers if needed. But this time, not so much. Wow, a clean sweep. He did lose the Ravens, but the tank count, 6-2, with a nice amount of workers behind it. MarineLorD, I think I can call that a decisive victory. Maru overstayed his welcome, and he was burned for it. Yes, he's going to have a little more map control still because of his Marine production and his Viking count, but MarineLorD has the pushing potential. He has the upgrades. He's now pushing out, getting more vision on the map via supply depots, spotter depots, and he needs depots anyways. Who doesn't? You should probably check if you're supply blocked right now. I know you haven't played in a couple years, but hey, check anyway. SCV's covering whatever gaps in vision he might have as well. MarineLorD pulling back. He doesn't have combat shield done, so he doesn't really have... Is that another dog? We'll stay tuned. All right. Oh. Bitches be in the way. Morning. They lost one earlier. MarineLorD still reeling from such a defeat. Maru merciless. The upgrades evening up here. As Maru kept up, and MarineLorD's armory was a little later. But he does shave off a few of the Marines at the cost of a Viking. The engagements on the map. The unit count still in favor of MarineLorD across the board. More tanks, more Marines, more medevacs. He's down in the Viking count, which means a prolonged engagement will probably favor Maru, as he'll be able to shave off and get air control. Shave off medevacs, that is. A scan, spotting things. MarineLorD. A bit of deja vu here, just on the other side of the story. And this is kind of how Terran versus Terran ends up. A whole lot of posturing, maneuvering, and then they just start unloading on each other. A few tweaks. Oh, he gets the Raven, the highest value target. MarineLorD snipes it off with his Marines. The feudal age going well for him. MarineLorD picking up another 4 meta. Ooh, wow, this is a Maru-esque move. Maru doesn't have a patent on doom drops in risky scenarios, but he probably could file for one with a reasonable case. There was a time when Maru was well known for potentially throwing matches with the amount of doom drops he would do. Oh, well, the sensor tower comes up at an inopportune time. MarineLorD gonna dart in. Maru pulls back to defend. MarineLorD moves into the third. Tanks in a precarious position, though. A great spread out of Maru. And that means MarineLorD's push will be shut down. The drop slapped away. Maru turns the tides. MarineLorD a little ambitious here. Yes, the tanks found some damage, but Maru with a victory, a strong defense. MarineLorD a little slow on the draw. The sensor tower coming up at almost the perfect possible time. And that means Maru is back on the board. And he has 4 CCs secured. He snipes off the final surviving medevac of that ill-fated push. And the supplies are dead even. We have, wow, Corvid Reactor. Raven Energy on the way. 3-3 started for MarineLorD. Maru a little slower. So the Marines, once again, MarineLorD will have an upgrade advantage. But Maru has maintained the Viking count. Air control is his. Yes, Ravens are good, but the Vikings will eventually knock them down. Maru pushing forward. He's working the air superiority. Sensor towers covering the majority of the land on this map, and actually just the majority of the map in general. Gonna be able to keep tabs on everything going every which way. Like, this is why it's a chess match. You can see what your opponent is doing, but can you stop it, Maru? With MarineLorD coming in the back, reinforcements, tanks all over the board. Overall, MarineLorD, once again, a couple steps too late. Just a couple. And those couple, though, are a couple tank shots that broke the back of MarineLorD's counterattack. Corvid Reactor completes. Ravens popping out with even more energy here for Maru. The same thing can be said for MarineLorD in just a few more seconds. The tank count 7-1. A significant deficit for the Frenchman. MarineLorD sharking around, though. The supply differential is kind of surprising. That's almost entirely in Marines, and he catches the tanks. Those sensor tower, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down they go, a 6th one for the road. Oh, the Marines were deciding to grant it mercy for a moment. A Whittle mine gonna spot the command center moving over, and actually hasn't dealt with it. Wow. No, we cannot land. Why? Because the new Minecraft update. Oh my. Well, that's annoying. Ravens coming up. That gives MarineLorD. Honestly, Maru had to move his Ravens a little out of position, and MarineLorD retakes the initiative, diving in towards Maru's third. He's died here before. A lot of Marines have been lost. 91 versus 72 so far, but I don't think we're nearing the end of it. Oh, here we go. The scrambles. A couple tanks. MarineLorD sieges up Dorito dust out of Maru. He shreds the armor of the Marines, but their guns still work just fine. Stutter stepping through, and guess what? Maru scrambling back. The Air Force is unprotected, and without ground support, will have to retreat. Loses a couple more Vikings. Maru down 40 supply. A planetary fortress actually laying into the Marines and knocking them away. Will take several dozen kilograms of flesh. Several dozen, yeah, Marines. Yeah, easily. One Marine is probably several dozen kilograms. How to say you're American without saying you're American. Hell yeah, brother. Moving on. +3/+3. Maru is catching up. The upgrades definitely helping in that previous fight. Of course, the positioning and the sniping of the tanks earlier on setting the tone. MarineLorD darts in. Oof. MarineLorD all over the place. Maru not able to keep up. High-sec auto-tracking is on the way for the French Terran. Some more scrambles. Interference matrix. Anti-armor missile on both sides. One tank on the front lines. What are the upgrades? +2 mech weapons. The battle continues. Maru barely holding. His production vulnerable. MarineLorD has 5, 6, 7 command centers. Playing the war of attrition, and right now he's winning it. Maru has a lot of ravens, but ravens usually don't win the fight on their own. Not anymore. Not since the removal of those beautiful seeker missiles. MarineLorD almost fully annexing his half of the map so far. Building armor on the way. Neo-steel armor, I apologize. A quick scramble. Looking to take out the planetary. Auto turret just to guard the way. Wow, the Marines just blasting through the planetary, but SCV's pulled to repair. MarineLorD getting a little greedy with this one. He's going to lose his Marines and the tanks. And you can't afford to do too much of that. Not a deadly loss, not a critical amount of damage, but he definitely wasn't going to get the planetary against Maru there. That was a bit much. Couple more scrambles coming through. Anti-armor missile across the board. Hits the Ravens and hits the Marines and tanks on either side. The Air Force is vulnerable, but the auto turret force hits the ground. Temporary but deadly. The TPM raises. Down go the tanks as well. Maru slaps MarineLorD down to the north and then guns him down on the south. Suddenly, the game is back even, as are the supplies. Upgrades being filled in across the board. +3 armor is going to draw the Marines to maximum for both sides now. Anti-armor missile. Hard to tell exactly what's going on, but they're going to kill each other even more quickly. MarineLorD being pushed back. He's lost a lot of small battles. And right now, he's starting to be at risk of losing the war. MarineLorD still producing. He's got plenty of money. Right now, he's got 7 racks to just 5 of Maru. 5 starports to 3, and 2 factories to 2. But Maru is breathing down his neck. Metaphorically and, well, metaphorically. It'd be weird if it was literal. That's not how we play this game. Anyways. Another battle won. The Vikings had to land for a moment just to stall the Marines. Reinforcements have arrived for either side. A little quicker for MarineLorD because of the supply chain here. More starports on the way. Continuing to pump out Ravens. Maru really making use of air control throughout the match, whereas MarineLorD has won most of the prolonged ground engagements. Honestly, MarineLorD relying on his namesake a lot more than anything else. Still, though, MarineLorD has control of most of the bases on his side of the map. He didn't actually lose any economy, despite losing a couple engagements. Maru cannot say the same so far. Maru's still trying to secure his half. Another anti-armor missile leads the charge. MarineLorD darting in towards the third, which is almost completely undefended. A couple tanks on the high ground. Could use a scramble here. Interference matrices still valuable. Anti-armor missile, well, Ravens are never not valuable. They kind of have a bit of a reverse bell curve on when they're used. Oh, Maru showing it off. One tank able to unsiege. A couple more interference matrix. The rest locked in. Reinforcements, though, on the way. Anti-armor missile lands across half the army. More and more and more battles throughout the map. Neo-steel armor on the way for Maru. The Viking count is 10-0 in favor of the Korean Terran. Continued engagements. Looking for more. Oh, tanks from the high ground. Badly bruised. Maru just gonna drop on top. Get out of here with that weak shit, says Maru. None of these. You better come with full HP tanks or not at all. He is pouncing on any opportunity like that. That is how MarineLorD got into the awkward situation earlier. Some half-committed engagements. Now, just Marines here, able to stim and split and knock out a tank and some SCVs. Finds his way behind a planetary fortress as well. Maru lacking the critical high-sec auto-tracking upgrade. Always valuable. I mean, sometimes more valuable than others, but this would definitely be one of the valuable times. More command centers, but MarineLorD 3/4 of the way to a bingo 4-corner strategy. Maru doesn't even have his main here. Now, while the supplies may be even, MarineLorD is building a bank. He has command centers to burn, literally and figuratively. Maru, on the other hand, has lifted his main for more economy, and MarineLorD is mining from the corners. If this goes half and half on the map, well, this isn't really a glass. This is like a glass 60% full for MarineLorD, as he's going to have an entire extra base of mining, maybe 2, depending on how you want to slice it. Scans all over the place right now. Keeping tabs on everything is critical. A couple interference matrices, 1 Raven snipe, not enough. Anti-armor missile. Maru's reinforcements from an awkward angle, but a beautiful anti-armor missile lands across the board, and MarineLorD not going to be able to press the issue with that, despite a pretty nasty tank positioning. A few Marines denying. Oh, this is just an orbital for MarineLorD. Yes, repairs are there, but Marines are as well. 20 SCVs down, though I don't think MarineLorD's gonna miss him too much. Planetary fortress and a tank knocking out the Marines behind the top right planetary. Scans looking for the army. MarineLorD finds it. He's got a lot of Ravens. What is the Raven count? 11 to 9 in favor of MarineLorD. Looking for interference matrices. Gets a couple scrambles. Great anti-armor missile from MarineLorD. Counter missile coming in from Maru. Look at him. It's impossible to tell exactly how much they get, but it's more than enough. Oh, whoa. Huge tank hits. Interference matrices from Maru, but is it too little, too late? MarineLorD winning the battle. It's a mess. There's a single liberator. Wait. Maru again wins the air war, left with a single tank on the ground. MarineLorD retreats with 3 tanks. Everything else died. MarineLorD has lost nearly 100 more Marines. 343 to 245. He's lost 31 to 15 Ravens. He's lost 23 to 6 medevacs. But he is up 15 supply. He does still have... He had that bank to draw on. He was maxed out. He can replenish his army 18 Marines at a time. He doesn't want to play the full Supreme late game chess match right now. He wants to batter Maru into submission. And that can only be done before the Ravens recharge and before Maru remaxes. Maru moving to intercept. Vehicle plating 2 on the way. Not quite done yet. Those tanks still vulnerable. Few tanks moving into position. Maru has a whole lot of Ravens. The scrambles could be amazing here. He doesn't choose to use them. The tanks will unsiege and escape from the Liberator. The base kind of just cut off and destroyed. There are some scrambles as the tanks move into position. Maru taking it slow. Gonna go for the... Oh my god, those tank hits are bloody. Finding the center mass. A full scramble. Maru picking a fight. Anti-armor missile tanks. No Raven. Just... Okay, 1 Raven in response. He pulls out with 2 medevacs of Marines. MarineLorD living up to his name once again. Maru definitely won that fight, but the war is still in doubt. Stimming, stuttering, knocking down the Marines that are repairing. It looks like he's going to get the planetary. Another valuable piece of Maru's economy. Can MarineLorD continue to fight this war of attrition? Maru up 20 supply. What are the incomes? He's killing bait. This is about as clear-cut of a trade as you're gonna get. He lost a bunch of army for SCVs and a base. MarineLorD clearly lost more units, but can he survive the counterattack? Gets a Raven or two, but the scrambles. Maru has the deadly army with plenty of Ravens, but MarineLorD has rebuilt his. He's been working off 1 or 2 more bases of income for much of the game. That's really showing now, but Maru is going straight for the production. A lot of his air force is bruised. But does it matter? There's a critical mass of... There are no Vikings from MarineLorD. He's setting up a flank. Maru, he doesn't see it. Is it enough, though? MarineLorD is waiting until the last possible second. When is that second? I think whenever he gets close enough to maxing out. Well, here we go. MarineLorD coming in from every side. Some units from the north. The Ravens looking for it. Oh, no, the Marines! They went the wrong way! Oh, no, the mineral wall. Still too much. Oh, disastrous for MarineLorD. Maru moving forward. If you're gonna go, it's maybe an hour. Never. Never looking more likely. Continues battering MarineLorD back. Maru down to 135 supply. The income still in favor of the French Terran, but starting to stabilize. As the corner, at least one of the corner bases knocked out. Maru pressing forward. MarineLorD still has a lot of Ravens, some of them at full energy. Remember, he has Neil Steel Armor and high-sec auto-tracking. There is some scattered production out on the map, but MarineLorD, the vast... Oh! Across the board! Drags the lockdowns! And the armor missile! Still halfway on the tanks before they can fire again! More turrets on the ground! Maru looked like he might be cleaned up, but he holds. Oh my god, so many interference matrices, but not enough ground forces to back it up. MarineLorD stimming forward. The medevacs will not last long. Maru takes it. Oh, it was so close. But Maru holds his ground. And he presses through. The cost efficiency was enough. MarineLorD trying to face, well, with a war entirely built off the blood and the backs of Marines that he lords over. Okay, we get it. You're laying it on a little thick, just like MarineLorD with his Marine tank composition. But Maru showing why air superiority has always been the focus of Terran versus Terran. Why the Viking count and the Ravens and maintaining them is key compared to just overwhelming production. But MarineLorD making an incredible game against the best Terran in the world. Or at least the one who has won more than anyone else, which I think probably counts. You tell me as we go into Game 2 in this best of 3. Jimmy! That was such a clash of style. I think Terran versus Terran gives you more expression than any other mirror matchup. Like, when it comes to Protoss versus Protoss and Zerg versus Zerg, they feel explosive, they feel deadly and dangerous, but you're much more rarely able to get to a late game unit composition. And even then, there's less of a ability to split in styles because units are so good against one another. But in Terran versus Terran, you have your more attrition and your infantry-based style of Marine tank with some air support like MarineLorD showed us last game. And then you have kind of your mechanized death ball, where the Marines are there to cover, so that way your tanks and your Vikings and your Ravens can move forward. Maru showing us how that is done. We're on 2,000 atmospheres for Game 2. Honestly, while Berlingrad has dogs, 2,000 atmospheres, sharks. Who would win in a fight? The fight is held in a swamp, like a bayou sort of situation. Would it be the dogs of Berlingrad or the sharks of 2,000 atmospheres? It's like a swamp, but it has like land patches, but there's some deeper water. It's unclear where each of them start, or whether they have detection. But I think this is kind of the important questions that need to be answered here. Like, StarCraft 2 has been figured out, but this is a question I've never heard anyone have the answer to. So, thank you for listening to me talk. I never know what I'm going to say, but hopefully you enjoy me saying it. Moving on. Starport. For Maru. MarineLorD reactored Reapers after the initial one. A bit of an off-center build. Not going for the 3 Reaper 2 Hellion, but instead, well, we'll see if he adds on more afterwards. This is a bit more ability to pressure your opponent, to surprise them, maybe with 1 extra Reaper, which can make all the difference. Because as you see, Maru now making a reactor of his own, which means he's not going to have the units. Oh, wow, he's going to go 7. He's going to have 7 units, 5 of them being Reapers. Okay, 7. There's going to be a tank out of Maru. I think he wants to do the tank dunk. Once again. I'm not sure how this works out. I think a Cyclone is usually better in the early game, but the tank is a weird quantity. I don't know how MarineLorD will react to this. Like, a Cyclone is better at sniping individual units, but a tank is a tank, so we will see. If Maru ends up losing anything this... Oh, no, 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 no! Oh, MarineLorD just gets the Hellion! A Reaper maybe as well. The tank got a siege on the high ground, but he's already lost most of his ground forces. The grenade bounces and actually reduces the splash damage, but MarineLorD runs the table. He's going to claim the low ground for now. A lot of the units bruised were Reapers here. And that means, oh, target fire out of Maru. Hits one of the bruised Reapers, but the rest will heal up rather quickly. The tank gonna be spotted at the front. He's trying to go towards the employee entrance. But a Cyclone ready to intercept. Knocks down a Reaper. Looking for more. He's not happy with just 1. He wants blood. He drops out the Cyclone first. Ready to snipe. A pickup on the Cyclone could keep it alive. Maru just demonstrating why he's the best. Everything lives. MarineLorD won the initial part of the battle, but Maru has been chasing him down with a vengeance. He can repair the tank, he can heal the Marines, everything going to be back at full fighting strength. And that means MarineLorD has to back off, build his 3rd command center. Maru probably going to be joining him momentarily, knowing that he has some map control now, and that can translate into a solid economy. Don't make me a liar, Maru. Is he actually going to go for the 2-base tank push? It's Maru. I feel like you can kind of just add that at the end of most send. Oh, he built on the low ground. That's what map control gets you. I'm the noob. MarineLorD built his on the high ground as he has to cower in fear of the impending counterattack. There's no way anything on the low ground would remain, or at least finish, with Maru on the case. Waiting, looking to catch, sharking around, inspired by the map. Maru is looking for an opportunity to catch any of these units out there. Even losing a Cyclone or a few Marines could be enough to break MarineLorD right now. He's got his own high ground preparations. Couple more racks on the way. 3rd command center finishing up. And, well, how does this go? Alright, interference matrices. Auto turrets are the choice for MarineLorD. Looking for an opportunity. The tanks will be uninterference matrix momentarily. He's the one with the Vikings. The tanks get 1 hit off, the rest knocked down. Ravens falling on either side. There's not enough anti-air to really stop the Vikings. One Raven down. Cyclone on the chase. Microing back. Looking for the tank. Are the Marines enough? Beautiful micro. He drops down the Marines. Looking for the Raven. Vikings from Maru. Battle continues. The Vikings clean up the Marines. The MarineLorD Vikings clean up the Marines. Whereas the Vikings from Maru knock down the Raven. Okay. Where does that leave us? When things start, they escalate. 54 SCVs apiece. 4 Vikings to 3 for MarineLorD. 1 Cyclone to none. 2 tanks to 1 in favor of Maru. Maru maintains a Raven. Upgrades. Maru just started +1. Engineering bays completed, starting 1-1 for MarineLorD. So, with all of that said and done, we're about even. Wow. What a mess. But a beautiful and well-controlled one. Great match from these two. Vikings. Rivaldi is coming in from Maru a little quicker, but I think MarineLorD has more Vikings. He does. So usually more does counter less, as some people have said in the past. Another scan, looking for opportunities. The Vikings sharking around, looking for the snipes. Getting the Raven would be... Whoa! Not getting the Raven would obviously be not great. The dances continue. Vikings, one of the most microable units in the game. Oh my. Wow, MarineLorD with some great snipes, but cleaned up pretty easy. Scans on both sides. The supply's still nearly even. 1-1 finishing up. Both of them looking for any tiny edge they can get. 1 tank shot before the interference matrix gonna help. Down goes the Raven. No spells cast besides the interference matrix. 3 tanks. Maru's army thinning out. Combat shields done for MarineLorD. That will propel him to a victory. The stutter step chasing down Vikings. A few Marines of Maru just hanging out on the high ground. Liberator looking for an opportunity. Should be dealt with rather quickly. Maru with a 4th command center on the way on location. MarineLorD with his own at the natural. 1-1 finishing across the board. Armories nearly dead even. It just comes down to the fights. It looks like MarineLorD respecting air control a lot more than the previous match. He is challenging it, though he's not continuing Viking production. Maru almost done with the command center. He finishes it. He can evacuate it immediately, and he's going to need to. If he had 3 seconds earlier, and MarineLorD may have gotten a free cancel. Oh, he may still very well kill the CC. It's very close. Where's the repair? Where's the repair? Oh, no! Not only did MarineLorD not kill the command center, he lost most of the Marines. Oh, no. But Maru did lose a lot, too. He lost 8 SCVs. He's going to have to repair the CC. MarineLorD is landing his 4th. So despite all that, MarineLorD does grind out a 20-something supply lead. A lot of effort went into focusing down that command center and defending it. And does Maru just not have the production? No, they have identical production. 5 racks, 2 factories, 1 starport right now. Double upgrades. 2 more starports coming in from Maru. He knows what he likes. Air control, air superiority. To eventually drive your opponent off the map. MarineLorD, on the other hand, falling back to his favorite strategy, which is mass marine tank and trying to overwhelm. More Marines having it out in Maru's main. He may have to pick up and get out. He does. MarineLorD, like, I'm hesitant to say a lead after last game because Maru definitely has a more strategic style that does rely on building up the right unit composition. MarineLorD, on the other hand, he's adding on 4 starports, so he's acknowledging how important that's going to be. But this time, Maru isn't going to the Ravens. He is focusing on the Liberators, trying to gain a positional advantage, working off of his Vikings with the double siege opportunity, siege tanks and Liberators. You can drive back the siege tanks with the Liberators, move your siege tanks up, rinse, repeat. Until you have to come back into your main and deal with 16 Marines and 2 medevacs, or maybe at the 4th as well, but the tanks were already entrenched. The Liberators siege up and force the medevacs away. How's it going in the main? MarineLorD finding somewhat more success. Snipes off a couple tanks of his own. Going into the mineral line, driving things back. Not going to be able to snipe off the upgrades. MarineLorD continuing to drag Maru around the map. But can he close things out? This is where he was in the previous match. He has a supply lead. Does he have an income lead? Not quite, though it's very close, and mules are really just defining it right now. +2 is done for MarineLorD. Only 2 tanks? That's a target. You can hit that. He goes for it. The split's not perfect to start. More Marines coming up. More tanks sieging. Planetary getting involved. Liberators, a real and present threat. And that didn't go as beautifully well as MarineLorD may have wanted. He's going to be forced to retreat. On the right flank, small group of Marines. Where's the scan? He just pre-splits. Eats some tank shots. Reinforcements are there, forced to retreat. Big hit on the Marines. Will definitely force him to tuck tail. MarineLorD is trying to exert map control right now as he builds up his air death ball. Ravens, Corvid reactor. +2 mech weapons and 3-3 for his infantry. Maru just now starting 3-3, so there's a 30-40 second window. I don't think it's going to be particularly relevant on the ground, but we will see. Once again, an incredibly positional Terran versus Terran. Both these players respecting each other and falling back. It's pretty beautiful how you can see the difference in styles here. Both of them entirely valid, though I think when played perfectly, Maru's is better. But MarineLorD's style makes it very hard to play perfectly. And that is kind of the split here. Everyone has a plan until they get an interference matrix in the eye, as the quote goes. Corvid reactor done now. MarineLorD, well, the supplies are nearing a max. Maru still down about 13 army supply. There's no way. You can't fight that. MarineLorD agrees. Maru taking the world tour with his Marines right now. MarineLorD is actually chasing him back. Really? Stutter stepping against the sensor tower. MarineLorD repairs. Is he going to? Is it... There are multiple turrets to kind of zone out the Ravens. MarineLorD has 60 Marines, 8 tanks, 8 Vikings, and 6 Ravens. 6 Ravens as well from Maru. Only 46 Marines, but 9 tanks. And he is the defender here. I think it's time to go. MarineLorD scrambles the tanks. There's no more. Looking for an anti-armor missile. He finds it. If there ever was a time, this would probably be at the tanks. Unscrambled. Interference matrix. Well, the start of the fight goes well for MarineLorD, but there are tanks on either side. I don't know if there's any more progress to be made here. 3-3 is finishing up. MarineLorD decides to evacuate for now. Gonna break down the rocks. Maru is scanning during all this. He can see it all happening. More scrambles across the board. Anti-armor missile. The choke point is fixating for MarineLorD. Vikings taking down the medevacs. And he just runs the table. Maru locks down the tanks. Takes full advantage of the ridiculous choke point. MarineLorD forced to retreat. Wait, what does he have left? He has one Marine? Big Gabe out here wondering where everything went wrong. Suddenly, Maru has all of the key units. It's 5 Ravens to 6, but there's almost nothing on the ground. Anti-armor missile. He's going to try to fight, but the amount of Marines is too damn high on Maru. And he takes it. Not as drawn out as the previous match, but MarineLorD felt like he was playing with fire the whole time. And I really thought he would be able to continue to outmaneuver Maru, but Maru asserts himself with a dominant positioning and ends up winning this best of 3. But a beautiful clash of styles. I want to point out that MarineLorD had a fusion core on the way. Unfortunately, we didn't see that come to fruition. But I hope you enjoyed this TSL qualifier match. I enjoyed it. And if you'd like to see more, like, subscribe, ring the bell, check out these incredible videos, and also the pretty good ones. Thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.